It's pretty big to be fair, but what a wicked fish. Right, welcome to another video. We're back on the bank. Today I'm at Festival Fishery. I've only fished it once in the past, and to be honest the conditions were really against me. It was back towards the end of the winter, and I did an overnighter, or maybe just a bit longer than an overnighter, and unfortunately I blanked. I'm back pretty much doing the same thing. I've pretty much got about the same sort of time, just over sort of a bit longer than an overnighter, not quite 24 hours. It's a lovely sunny day, very warm. It's been about 20 to 21 degrees, and yeah, it's not looking too bad. I know there's a few guys on the right hand side of the lake, but the left hand island on the lake is actually free, which is where I've chosen a peg. I've booked in on swim 3, which is actually the swim I fished the last time I was here, but to be honest I'm going to have a little walk around, and they have said because no one else is booked in, if I want to change swims, if I see anything, then I can do. So I'm going to be going through sort of how I approach short session fishing on day ticket waters. So I'm going to start off by having a little nose around, maybe having a chat to a couple of the guys already fishing, seeing how it's fishing, seeing if anything's been caught recently, and then I'll go through sort of tactics, bait, rigs, all that sort of stuff, and hopefully in this short session we can get ourselves a bit of a chunk. There's some very nice fish in here. They go over £40 I believe, so you never know, we could get very lucky. But anyway, I'm gonna have a bit of a nose around, see what I can find, and yeah, hopefully we can have one. So let's get cracking. Right, and so one of the things I want to start talking about more is why I'm approaching a particular swim in a certain way, why I've chosen that swim, sort of what decisions have brought me to get into a certain area. So on these kind of lakes, Festival, you have to pre-book swims. You call up, book a particular peg, and then obviously that's the peg you get. Luckily today I'm in quite a fortunate situation that one of the islands is totally free of anglers. There's no one booked in on any of the swims, so I've essentially got the whole island to myself, so I can pick one of these swims. So I've pre-booked swim 3 just because I fished it last time and I kind of knew the swim. But looking at it, it's flat calm. I've not really seen anything in the area, but I have actually seen a fish roll, I think, just down in front of swim 2, which is the next one down. There again, something's just rippled on the top out there. I don't know if that's something small or whether that is a carp just touching the surface, but there's definitely been a bit of movement in that open water down there where the wind's pushing down. It looks really nice. So that's the first thing you want to look at, the weather conditions. There's a lovely wind pushing down there, it looks really nice. So straight away when I got here, that was sort of screaming carpy to me. That was sort of the first thing I saw. I kind of thought, you know, that's kind of where I would probably want to be. I haven't seen anything up here, so to be honest, I've kind of written this swim off now, and I'm kind of looking down this way. In terms of spots, a lot of the lake is pretty much just a flat silty bottom. It's quite soft, and then you've got like a marginal shelf either side, which obviously slowly drops down to the bottom, and then it's just quite flat all over. So in terms of spots, you're looking at like the bottom of the marginal shelves. You're looking at places like, you know, you've got overhanging trees. If you have any sort of gaps in the reed line where you might be able to get an even tighter into the reeds, you're looking for areas like that. As you can see on the end of this sort of bend here, you've got quite a dense amount of reeds which come out quite over the water. So in theory the fish will be able to get right up in there, which is going to be a nice bit of cover for them. That's quite a nice looking spot actually, looking at it from here. You've got that whole line of reeds on the far side. Obviously that bank there, the fish could patrol up and down there, so that looks quite nice. You could potentially sort of bait a little line along there to sort of try and pick off fish as they're going along and have a little mooch around. So essentially that's the kind of things that I'm looking for. You know, there's not really features out in the lake, there's no sort of bars or anything like that, it's a relatively flat bottom, so you're looking for those visual signs. There's visual sort of fish showing, little back coming out of the water, maybe a little roll, that sort of thing, and also just things that look carpy, you know, like if you look across there, you've got those trees, they look carpy. That's usually a good indicator that potentially they're not wholesome fish, you know, they look, you know, you instantly are drawn to those sort of areas because it looks good. It looks like fish could get up in there, so those are essentially what you're looking for. Don't ignore the open water. If you see fish roll, or you might just have one rod in open water, there's nothing to say the fish won't move around in the open water. They're not just going to hold up against the reed line or in the margins. They will go in the open water, but to be honest, I'd probably look at fishing 2 rods up against the features and maybe one rod in the open water, just in case the fish sort of do move about a little bit. But you know, you've got to play it by ear. If you sort of don't catch on a particular tactic and do on another, then obviously focus on the tactic that works, and don't be worried about changing. Don't be worried about sort of dropping a couple of rigs in, leaving it a few hours, trying something different. But then once you find something that works, just stick with it, because that's obviously what the fish are going to get caught on. So anyway, I don't want to babble too much. I need to get some rods out, so I think I'm probably going to go and have a chat to the bailiff, let him know I'm going to drop in swim 2 instead of into here, and yeah, let's hopefully get a few fish. So let's crack on. Fish just rolled out in the middle there. Happy days. Right, I'm just walking back. Look, just check out these fills. Well, check out the surroundings. Actually, even though it's quite a commercial lake, it's very picturesque. The old Somerset countryside. It's actually really nice. But anyway, so I've spread some 12mm SLK and S7, and then I've spread some 8mm of the same SLK and S7, and I put a few 6mm pellets out there as well. So nice bit of bait out there. I haven't gone really heavy. It's probably like half a kilo, I would have thought, but I'm going to be fishing 2 rods across to it, so I don't think it's too much bait. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. And the other one, I haven't fully decided, but I'm probably going to put it down the margin and see how we get on. But very simple. I had a little lead around initially just to check what the spots were like, but it's just silty. I couldn't even find anything different, any like firmer areas or anything like that. It was very just softish silt, very clean. So I'll be probably fishing just bottom baits, just literally straight out the bag. So anyway, let's get some rods out. So I've obviously put a bit of bait out there, using some pellet and boilie. So there's obviously a bit of bait down in the deck. It's quite silty, so some of that bait is going to sink into the silt. So I don't want to be using a pop-up or anything like that, which is essentially going to sit above where the freebies are going to be. So what I've decided to do is fish a solid bag. Now I'm actually fishing a bottom bait inside this as well, and the reason for that is hopefully this is going to sink into the silt. It's obviously not going to dig into the silt, but it will sort of settle into the silt, and as the fish are grubbing around, they should be able to come across the hook bait, which is just a bottom bait, and get nailed. That is the plan anyway. It's a really good tactic. Solid bags, I probably use them for probably 65% of my fishing, I reckon. Absolutely love them. Use them a lot in the winter just on their own, but this time of year I do like to fish them over the top of a baited area. On here you can't use leaders, so it's either just mainline or sort of tubing. So because of that, I'm using one of the Avid PVA bag stems. Basically what that is an extended swivel. So the top end of the swivel is extended into a large loop, which is inside a inside the plastic mould that goes inside the inline lead, and then basically the top of it pokes out, which is a little loop which you can then tie your main line to, which means you can have them pre-tied like this one, and then if you need to recast or if you have a bite and you want to get it back out there quick, you can just tie it straight on and just chuck it straight back onto the spot. So it's a very, very quick and effective way of fishing solid bags. But yeah, like I said, I got just a little short braided hook length in there, size 4 hook. I love big hooks, always use a big hook. I probably don't really change the size of my hook unless I'm fishing on the surface sometimes. Pretty much just use a size 4, I don't know, 95% of the time, I would say at least. So I've got a size 4 ESP Cryogen barbless, because that's the rules. Bit of braid, about 3-4 inches, and then I've got that sort of blowback style with a dumbbell, S7 dumbbell, which I've been curing in some rock salt. I've had my hook baits curing for a long time, probably since I joined DNA, so probably over 12 months ago at least now, and I just cure them in rock salt, and that way the moisture comes to the surface of the bait, the salt sticks to the bait. Carp do seek salt out at certain times of the year because it is a mineral that they need, and I think it's really attractive, really potent when it's got that sort of covering of salt on it. It's really, really potent. It looks different as well, so I think it's a really nice little hook bait to use. But yeah, that's what I'm using on the other 2 rods. They're out on the money. Hopefully we're gonna nail one, but it's looking good. There's been a few fish showing actually. I know last time I was here there was pretty much no fish showing. I mean, it was colder, but I don't think I really saw anything. So it's nice that there's been a few fish showing and they're active, so hopefully we might get one. So we'll see how the evening goes. Right, evening then. Rods are fishing. Check out those bad boys down there. Got the old little 9-foot extractors, sonic extractors. Absolutely love these little rods. Really nice. If you're in the market for a set of short rods, obviously I've had the scoops. I've still got a couple of sets of scoops, but I got myself a set of £3 sonic extractors, and they're really good for the money. 150 quid thereabouts for 3. I've got the 9-foot 3-pounders, wicked little rods. If you're in the market for a set, I definitely have a look at them. If you want a compact setup, very, very good. I've got them teamed up with the Fox 10,000s FD, so the front drag 10,000s, like a mini big pit. Very, very nice reels those as well, so it's actually a really nice balanced setup. And I've been using quite a lot lately, so I've been fishing a few sort of day tickets, smaller waters where I'm fishing shorter range. They're absolutely perfect for that sort of stuff, so yeah, absolutely love them. So it makes a change to fishing with the 13-foot 3.75 pound X5s, which are like absolute broomsticks, which are lovely when you're fishing at long range, but yeah, when you're playing fishing close, unless it's sort of £25, it feels like you're reeling in a bream. So anyway, yeah, rods are out on the spots. Just to give you a quick idea, I've put one right in the corner over there. I walk round, put a load of bait in, and I've got one in the corner over there. Oh, hello. That's probably a little fish. I've got one in the corner over there, solid bag. Got one a little bit further down on its own on the solid bag, sort of quite tight to that far side. There's been a few fish showing over there, and there was a guy in this swim that did 48 hours and he had 3, and the bailiff who's over in swim 6, there's a fish just rolled, don't know what that was. He said that he had 2 from over in that sort of little corner over there, so it made sense to put a rod over there. Right hand rod is, there's like a sort of corner over here where there's a bigger sort of area of reeds that come out and overhang. I've seen a fish, well, it's a bit of a unit to be fair, absolutely bosh over there, so I just flicked that rod out on its head. I'm happy with that. Made sense, you know, if you see a fish roll, makes sense to put a rod on it, you never know. If the fish are showing there, they could be feeding there, so you know, it makes sense to do it. Other than that, I haven't really done anything. Everything's sort of all over the shop at the moment. I've been tying up a couple of spare solid bags, so I didn't have any ready to go, just in case I do get a bite. I can easily get one back on the spot. And I would say, if you've got a bit of downtime, not much is happening, tie up some bags, tie up some rigs, you know, get stuff prepped, because when you do get that bite, you just want to get that rod straight back out there as quick as you can, because if you've got one bite, you never know, you could quite easily have two. So you know, it makes sense to get things prepared and be organised. But anyway, everything's set, rods are out. I'm pretty confident. There's been quite a few fish showing, so I've got as good a chance as any to get one, I think. Definitely more chance than my last session on here. But anyway, I'm gonna probably stick the brolly up, just give myself a bit of cover, tidy up everything a bit, get myself ready for when it gets dark in a bit, and settle in, have a few tins of Thatchers, and yeah, probably have a bit of food and then get my head down. So hopefully at some point I will be able to show you a fish, but yeah, if not, hopefully it gives you a bit of an idea of how I go about what I'm doing. You know, I've tried to sort of explain the tactics a little bit more and sort of show you what I do, so hopefully it's helpful. And anyway, we'll leave it here, and hopefully next time you see me, I'll be building up an absolute unit. Right, not long after doing that update, the left hand rod is absolutely melted off. And it's not the intended species, and it's unbelievable. This is a first for me. I've always wanted to catch one. Obviously it's a PB. I was speaking to the bailiff earlier, and he actually mentioned there was a couple of these in here, and if you know the area, you might have a bit of an idea of what this might be. But this cool creature, I mean, I know some people don't like them, but I think they are pretty cool. Got no idea how to hold the thing. Look at that! It's about £17. It's my first ever catfish. What a wicked fish. Last week, well, maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, I did a bloggers match. I had a PB eel, caught by design. Fair enough, this isn't caught by design, but it's another PB. My first ever catfish. I've wanted to catch one for ages, so I'm absolutely chuffed. That is cool. I'm well happy with that. A big old slug. Pretty cool, that is. What a cool fish. So you can probably tell I'm absolutely chuffed. So buzzing. What a wicked little fish. Well, I say wicked, it's pretty big to be fair, but I don't want to keep her out too long anyway. I'll get a couple of snaps and slip her back, but wicked, another PB. Chuffed. Anyway, let's get a few snaps and get her home. Hi, morning. Just polishing off the first coffee of the day. So, you draw me at the back of the swim because there's it's a little bit windy this morning, and the wind direction's changed, so it's going to make the audio terrible. So I've had to sort of move towards the back. But anyway, we've had a night of very mixed emotions. We had a very, very nice high, and basically I ended up having a PB, and I was really chuffed, like really happy. Wasn't a carp, but it was a species I haven't caught before. It's something I've wanted to catch for a long time, and yeah, I was really chuffed. I ended up having my first ever catfish. Now that's actually a pretty good achievement out of here, because there's actually only 2 in here, possibly 3. So I was really chuffed, you know, really took me by surprise. It was quite interesting actually, because I was chatting to the bailiff before I set up, just sort of asking him a few questions about the lake, because I don't know a huge amount about it. And he did mention that he's thinks he's lost a catfish in the past. It absolutely beasted him, and he lost it, and I went and caught one. So happy days. It was on the left hand rod, away from the main baited area, on a solid bag, and one of those cured S7 hook baits. What was nice as well was the size 4 ESP gripper was still pretty sharp, you know, considering how strong and bony their mouths are. I would have, if I was on a runs water, I would have probably stuck it straight back out again. You know, it was that sharp, so I was quite impressed with that. It's a real sort of example of how good those hooks are, really. So yeah, I was really happy. Other than that though, not much else happened through the evening, but like I said, it was a high from a down to a low, and unfortunately after being in the bag for a few hours, the rod went ripping off around sort of half 3, 4, and yeah, I ended up having to take on the middle rod. I say a low, I'm sure you can guess what happened, but unfortunately after a little bit of a battle, which I thought I was winning, it changed direction, and I think it managed to shake its head and the hook come flying out of its mouth. And yeah, unfortunately I dropped it off, but I don't think it was a massive fish. I think it was probably one of the smaller stamp for in here, I would have thought, because the way it was fighting, it is quite spirited, which normally indicates a smaller one. So yeah, unfortunately it was a loss, but you know, at the end of the day, I had a catfish. It was a first for me. Hold on, I'm trying to change hands. Yeah, I had a catfish. It was a first for me, so I'm actually really happy with that. So although it would have been nice to get off the mark and have my first carp out of here, you can't win every battle, and it is fishing, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's not catching. So it was nice to get a bite and nice to show the tactics worked. It's just a shame I couldn't show you the fish, but anyway, I've got about an hour and a half to go, so hopefully in that time we can manage to nail one to round the session off. But I've just cooked up a bit of food. I've got to go to work, so I've cooked up a bit of food, some nice lemon chicken for at work, and that's about it really. I'm going to slowly start to pack the kit down and get it on the barrow to wheel it back to the van, and hopefully we'll have one before I actually have to go. So we'll leave it there, but still in a wicked mood. I've had a cat, so happy days. I'll catch up in a bit, I guess. Right then, we're pretty much packed down, kit's on the barrow. I have still got the rods out, but I am going to bring them in now. Just quickly though, just wanted to give a shout out to the two, no, I think it's 3 lads fishing over on the other island. They've been there for a few days. 2 of them come around and said hello today. They're actually subscribers, so thanks for following the channel, lads. Hope you like the video, and yeah, thanks for your support. It's good chatting to you. It's always nice to meet a subscriber and a fellow angler that likes watching the video, so thanks for coming around and saying hello. Unfortunately they haven't had anything yet. They've been there a few days, and I think they've been struggling a bit, but hopefully you can nail one before you go. So if you do have one and you're watching this video, then let me know if you did have anything in the comments below. Hopefully you've managed to save a blank. I think they're a bit frustrated because over the back it looks like they're potentially building a new lake, and they've got a load of sort of diggers and machinery over there, so I think it's quite loud over where they are, so unfortunately it's probably not open to fishing for them. But yeah, thanks for coming around and saying hello. Glad you like the videos, and hopefully you continue to watch them. But anyway, I'm going to bring the rods in, and it's going to be time to go in a minute, but I'll give you another update shortly just to finalise things. But yeah, it's looking like we ain't gonna have a carp. Right, and that's the end of the session. I'm back at the van from where I started. All the kit's loaded up, so unfortunately it was a no carp session for me, but I had a catfish, first one ever, and a PB obviously, but can't complain really at that, you know. Nice to get something different, and it definitely took me by surprise. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, I definitely hooked a carp, but it dropped off. That's just how it is. It is fishing at the end of the day, so you can't always land them, but hopefully next time when I'm back I will actually get one in the net for you. But hopefully the video's been useful, and I've given you a few ideas of how I approach a short session and also how I target some of these data kit waters. But if you do like the video, remember to subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon so you get up-to-date notifications, so every time I upload a video you're going to see it straight away. Check out the Instagram at the Fishing Bloggers, and also you can follow the Facebook page, the Fishing Bloggers TV. I'm going to get in a van and head off to work, unfortunately, but I'll be back out on the bank again soon. If you're getting out, hopefully you're going to catch something more than me, and yeah, get out there and be lucky. See you next time.